Hi guys, we're going to be painting some minis today if I don't break them while I drop them. Right now we're going to do this undead warrior. What I'm doing right now is I'm cleaning up the extra stuff because I 3D printed them and my 3D printer doesn't like to be clean all the time. Come on. Tweezers here. See if we can pull that out. Oh, there we go. But here he is. Nice, cool little guy. Right here. All my 3D printed models right now, they come from Loot. I think he came from this Snowy Summit set. All the paints and tools I use are from the Army Painter War Paints. Let's see if I can get a better shot of that. Nope, that is too bright. Way too bright. Oh yeah. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. You got some tough on your beard. Oh. See if I can clean up that sword a little bit. Nope, you're just gonna have a serrated edge on one side there, buddy. I don't feel comfortable trying to shave you. Alrighty, cap that so I don't accidentally gut myself. But yeah, got an arrow sticking out of his head, sword, shield. Can't really tell, but he's got some bones sticking through. So that'll be fun. Get him locked in the mini holder. And we'll start painting. Generally, I like to start from bottom to top. Also, I'll paint the base, and then I'll do all the lower layers of them. So, like here, he's got some bones sticking out. I'll paint that first, and then I'll do the ones around it. Alright, so for the base, because you're from the Snowy Summit, we want snow. And because you're standing on a rock, I want to paint that rock as well. Probably 2. For the snow, I'm going to use matte white. And for the rock, I'm going to use, if I can find it, Darkstone. I didn't shake you. Wipe off the brush. Make sure you're nice and clean. You won't catch me sticking this thing in my mouth. I didn't realize how weird that looked until just now. What I'm doing is I'm trying to get the point to an actual point. It makes life a little easier. Now some people say twist. I'd say you ruin your brushes, so don't do that. I find that sometimes dipping it in your water, dragging it across your paper towel in a straight line, that helps sometimes, but not all the time. That's why I lick my toothbrush. Or my toothbrush, my paintbrush. It's a paintbrush, not a toothbrush. You can paint with a toothbrush, though. Alrighty. Let's see if I can pull this down a little bit. You can see what I'm doing. And get my ugly mug off the internet. And just spread it around, nice even coats. You generally want to get your paints a little bit thinned out, so you're not globbing on and wasting a bunch of paint. I like to paint in 3 layers. That was one of the things I learned starting this out. I like to put the first coat down nice and thin, let that dry, and then add on a slightly thicker coat second time, and then touch up with just the paint on places I've missed. Now I know it's primed white and I'm painting in white, but you can definitely tell a difference when it's done. You can't really see a difference there. Eventually I'll get a better camera, you'll be able to see that kind of detail. Right now we're recording from my phone, so I can give this a shot and see if this is a regular thing I want to do, or if this is just a one and done deal. I originally had planned to do my commission work online, which is, I'll show you that here in a second. Putting him together and painting him for a buddy of mine, but this is Iowa and I drive a Camaro, so I wasn't able to make it to the store to get a couple of the items I needed, so we're going to save that for a different day. Alrighty. Get it nice and around everywhere. So if you catch me looking at it like I'm an old man, my eyesight isn't what it used to be. So I have a hard time seeing. And everyone says get glasses. Get glasses. I don't want glasses yet. I'm too young for that. Way too young for that. Although I probably should wear reading glasses. That would make life a little easier for this out. Alright, so first layer of the snow is done. And then when I realized I wasn't going to be able to do the commission work, I had 3D printed this bad boy. He is a barrel mimic from Loot's Welcome Pack 2.0. And then it dawned on me, you guys probably don't want to see me clean him up and prime him on camera. That could be a little boring. So I'm going to save him for a different time. Yeah, and then we just let him dry. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. There we go. It finally focused. Hello, all 4 of my viewers. How are you guys doing? You'll be able to tippity tap that keyboard and I can see what you guys are saying and we can actually talk. You guys don't have to see and hear me chit and chat all by my little lonesome. I guess I can talk to the friendly ghost Casper. Or my awesome girlfriend sitting on the couch playing the PlayStation. Well, there he is. He's pretty cool. I like doing these undead guys. I saw a video online of a guy who had a bunch of undead skeletons who painted the eyes like a glowy color. I haven't been able to do that yet, like actually get it the way he did it, but I'm trying. Hey, what's up, Ricochet? I just showed your commission work here that I wasn't able to get to, but hopefully Mother Nature will stop being Mother Nature and I can go out and get what I need for your base, buddy. Now you can see the tedious little crap I gotta deal with when I paint these things. Mostly it's figuring out what colors to use, what colors work well, but we'll get it. We will get it. Get rid of that notification. Anytime, man. No rush on it. Yeah, well, I was kind of super excited to get it and super scared at the same time. Because usually when I paint, it's I know what colors I'm gonna pick before I go into it. I don't have to color match or anything, but because it's Boba Fett, you need to color match it. Your only options are old Boba Fett or new. Okay, time for that second coat on the snow. Alrighty. Paint it like it should. I make weird faces when I paint, I'm sorry. Luckily, I don't think you can see the whole face. And generally speaking, when you paint, you wanna paint all in the same direction. Like the snow, I'm trying to paint all in the same direction. Sometimes it's a pain, sometimes it works. But I'm also trying not to put too much paint down that it fills in the recesses of the print. Let's see here. that is coat 2 done on snow. Coat 2. So, sometimes a model this size will take me like 6 hours to do. Trying to get faster. I'm not going to stream the whole 6 hours. I'm not going to do that to you guys. But yeah. Get him to focus. Stop moving for a second. Focus. Focus. There you go. It's like Ross saying pivot off Friends. Pivot. Second coat on the snow. Now, I'm not cool and I don't have the like Citadel snow effect. I can kind of make snow. I know how, but on these 3D printed ones, you don't really have to. There's already detail on the base. We just let it dry. Usually, thinning out your paints will let things dry faster. Sometimes that happens, sometimes it doesn't. It all depends on what the paints want to do at that time. Okay, well, looks like that's a skeleton foot, so I'll paint you skeleton color. Yeah, just like I said, start from the base and I work up. This tool helps. This is actually something I 3D printed from Loot. One of my like 15th prints I've done. One of my very first successful prints. And by successful I mean it wasn't total trash. There's still, let's see, look at that light. You see, well, you can't do that. There you go. You got all this extra stuff and worn, not so greatly printed lines. I guess I could have spent time. Oh shit. Guess I could have spent time shaving it down, but I was so eager once it was printed to start using it. Let's turn you the right way so you're facing the way of the words. Start using it because I kept painting my fingers, and I wasn't very happy about that. Hey, Chance, what's up, buddy? Chance is my stepbrother. I don't know why he used his actual name for it, but hey, whatever, it works. But yeah, painting miniatures. That's what we're doing. Now we're just waiting this second coat to snow to dry before I throw on the third. Now, some people can go and do a different part of the miniature when they go to paint. I don't like doing that, because then I forget what coat number I was on, and you don't want to forget what coat number you're on, because one coat versus 3 coats it's a huge difference. And sometimes with the snow, it looks like 3 coats, but it's not 3 coats. It's like 1. Sitting at home with your little girl. Aww. And tell her Uncle Thomas says hi. Some of my other projects I was working on. This is the top to a wagon. Also, why you do 3 coats, you actually get the color to stay where it is. This isn't done, obviously. You got the wagon. Started painting that. I just don't know where I want to go with it. That's why it's been sitting here for like 2 weeks. But some of the stuff I've done, I pulled. Smiled, LOL later if you want video me. I will, buddy. You have fun. Give her hugs and kisses for me. But yeah, this is gonna be one of my favorites. 3 colors, super basic, a lot of detail. If I can get it to focus on the menu. Yeah. One of my favorites. He kind of sits on the desk until we get to use him in one of our games, and he does a total party wipe. So. For those of you just joining, you will once again catch me making my paintbrush. Right. So I don't have to keep saying it. This is probably the last time I'm going to say it. I like my paintbrush to get a point at the end of the brush. It makes life a lot easier when you're painting. Alright, I'm going to do some missions on GTA 5. You do that, buddy. What's today? Monday? What are you streaming later on? Minecraft? Oh, Chance, if you want someone to play with, my girlfriend over here, she streams Rockstar Wednesdays. Is that what you call it? Rockstar Wednesdays, where she bounces between GTA 5 and Red Dead Redemption. She's always looking for good people to play with. Maybe you can actually teach her how to play. Usually she just jumps in everyone's cars and gets a ride. At least that's all I've seen her do. But as long as she's having fun, that's the important part, right?
Last time we did drive around in a tank, so...
The last time I saw you guys tried to take a helicopter as a submarine. Third coat of the snow. This third coat, I don't put any water in it. I don't thin it out at all. But I'm always on GTA 5. I'll text you. I'll message you my PS5. Oh, it sounds good, buddy. Sounds good. But I don't thin it out. And the reason I don't thin it out is because the first 2 layers I did are thin, but now I kind of want to add just a little extra. Doesn't have to be a whole lot. And then we'll eventually go over this with maybe a wash. I used to dip all my minis, but I'm not a big fan of it. It doesn't turn out the way I want it to. You play Fortnite too? That's unfortunate. Your nephews play Fortnite. Or one of them does. Or he plays it on the Switch. Yeah, stop and think of what that thing was called. Just doing some touch-ups, and then I'll get off the snow and we'll go to that rock, and you guys can see what I'm talking about on thinner paints and what to do. And sometimes even 3 coats isn't enough. You gotta add maybe 4, but you're hardly using any brush or any paint. It's just on the tip of the brush, and you don't want that teardrop, because then that's too much paint. Too much paint, and you don't want that. That's a waste. Now, because that was the third coat of the snow, I can go straight to the stone. Straight to the stone. If you're wondering what this is, that I'm dipping my brush in, it's my wet palette. And the wet palette keeps your paints from drying out, so they last a little longer. I think I had the wet palette that I just changed before the stream was for this. It's too much. too much. Alright, here we go. Painting the rock now. Oh, that's still too much. Let's see if I can spread that goop out. Now if you look, I don't know if you can see, when I put some paint on his foot, that's okay. We're going to cover that up later. Bob Ross used to say, happy little accidents. Happy little accidents. Do. There we go. See? Got the rock started. Focus. There you go. Got the rock started. Takes a little to almost no time to dry. Then I'll throw a second coat on. Then the third. If it turns out the way I want it to, then we'll hit it with more. Ooh, that could have been bad. Don't knock over your water. It's a big mess. Nobody wants a big mess. Second coat for the rock. Like I said, you don't want it as thin as your first coat, but you still want it a little bit thin. That way you're not wasting paint. So let's be honest, paints can be expensive. And for instance, these little bottles I have are like $3.75, $3.99 for a little bottle. I've had these for 2 years, I think. I haven't had to replace a single one yet, although on some of them I'm probably getting close. I've been painting minis for, it's 2022, since like 2012, but I was never really good at it. Never really good at it. It wasn't until recently that I just dove headfirst into it. And then I started getting better and better. That's all it is. It's just practice. Just practice. Anybody can do it. Although so you don't do what I did where you print a bunch of cool stuff, go to paint it, and then get upset that it didn't turn out the way you wanted and throw it away. You know, talk to your friends. They might have stuff that they want painted like this. Board game pieces work just fine. Go to your local gaming store. You can get miniatures. I think Nolzur's, where I'm at, Nolzur's is like $4.99 for a mini this size, and they're not bad quality. Luckily, with Nolzur's, you don't have to rattle can them or prime them. They're already primed, which removes a step, which is sometimes nice when you got to paint a lot of them. There we go. See? And a second coat for the rock. Focus. Done. I will be highlighting the rock. I'll show you how to do that. I'm not good at it, so usually I just take my Psycho brush, which is this one here. The brush is actually called the Psycho. I'll show you why here in a second. Let me deal with this real quick. So I don't know if you can see it, but it's just like 4 bristles. Usually when I gotta highlight something, I'll just dip that in and just draw a straight line with it. The messed up part is I can't draw a straight line to save my life, but I could paint a straight line. I think it's the pinky action dragging it down. A little bit more time on that and the rock will be dry. Blow on it. See? Now I won't just be streaming miniature painting. It'll be a couple of things I do. I'll be streaming video games. Trying to learn how to do it on the laptop so I can add more games. Otherwise, it'll be PlayStation mostly. Random games. Okay. I'll wake you up when I'm done. Okay. Enjoy your nap. Apparently me talking's putting my girlfriend to sleep. It's weird. I usually stay quiet when I do this, but because we're streaming, you guys don't just want to see me stare at this thing and paint it, because that's boring. Yeah, it's boring. You don't want to be bored. You're here for entertainment. Learn something new. Learn something new. Okay, time for the third coat. Third coat. Oh, that buzzing, that's my 3D printer. I'm printing some benches, I think. That annoying sound's my cat, who was upset that he's being ignored. Eventually I'll have a higher quality stream. I'll have a couple cameras you guys can actually like get up close to see what I'm doing here. More lights, brighter. But yeah. Let's go ahead and get you back here. There we go. Third coat on the rock. Done. We're gonna let that dry, and then we'll take the Psycho and we'll highlight it. Let's pick out our highlight color here. There's Fur Brown. That's what I'm gonna use for highlight. Because when you stain it, it pops and, or not stain it, wash it. Sorry, when you wash it, it pops and it looks really, really nice. But that's just my personal opinion. We're gonna just put a little dab of that in there. Ooh. I apologize about the yawn. I had to work last night, and I worked 12-hour shifts. Actually, Ricochet and I both worked 12-hour shifts, offset schedules. Now what I'm doing is I'm picking what areas I'm gonna highlight with this. So I'm thinking along this line over here, down this little crack here, trying to leave as much of the stone color as I can, but to kind of just add that three-dimensional paint to a three-dimensional object. For now, yeah. Honestly, Ricochet, I can't wait until we have the same days of work on, same days of work off. That way we can go back to playing D&D. Time for highlight. Okay. So let's do. We'll see here. Just gonna start it. Nice and easy. Just draw that line. Usually with this, you want to do a dry brush, which is dipping your brush in your paint, wipe most of it off, and just barely touch it. Unfortunately, without getting paint everywhere, I can't do it to this rock, so I gotta draw them in with the Psycho here. And I think they call it Psycho because it's 4 bristles, and they don't think anyone's actually gonna use it. The joke's on them. I use it a lot. I use this one and the Regiment brush. That's the one I was painting everything earlier with. Those are my two go-to. Sometimes I'll throw in a different one. I've got like 17 of them. D&D is the only reason, not you. Oh, thanks, man. Thanks. I miss hanging out with you. I always had something to look forward to. We're gonna lay that there. Get extra support. When you're doing this, I suggest not wiping it. So don't put the paint on and then just wipe it. I kind of do this little rock back and forth motion here, where you're kind of forcing the paint to go exactly right where you want it without messing with anything else. I don't scratch it. I don't drag it. I just kind of do this little rock of the boat motion. That's what I do. You do it however you want. Honestly, at the end of the day, you can paint these however you want, with whatever technique you want. You can literally just take this and write and paint. That's entirely up to you. I'm not your dad. Not unless my kids are watching this. So do you do layers of paint or just one pass? I do layers there, Ricochet. I do what I like to call like a wash, where I have a whole bunch of water versus paint, and it ends up looking something like this, where you can still see everything. That's what I do for a base. And then second pass, more paint than water. And then the third pass, I touch up. I don't actually like paint the whole thing, I just touch it up. And that is with no water and more paint. But everybody that's into this hobby of miniature painting will tell you thin out your paint, thin out your paint, thin out your paint. To me, army painters, war paints, they're not thin, but they're not especially thick either. So like a little bit does go a long way. I like the wash aspect. It kind of marks what I'm painting. So, yeah, guys, for everyone watching, you guys can jump in chat, ask questions. I'll answer them to the best I can. If I can't answer a question, you could always look it up. That's what Google's for, right? Alright, see if I can get this to focus. See if you guys can actually see that highlight. It'll be very, very subtle. Nope. And between the lines, can you see that one? See the color changing? No, maybe. I don't know. I can't really tell. From here, it looks great. From this distance here. From this distance here, it looks amazing. But when I look at this, I try to show it to you guys. It's not the best. Can't really see it. If anything, I'll when I get done painting it, I'll snap a picture, throw it on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or something. That way, all you guys can see it. All right, that rock's done. The snow's done. I think next we're going to paint the skeletal bones. Looks like we got an arm, a hand, a face. He's wearing a hood. We got some ribs here showing. I don't know if you can see. It would help if I pointed it directly. Got some ribs here showing. We got the leg bone here, and right way the fuck back there. Can't really tell because the camera wants to be a bitch. But there's bone there too. So we're going to be painting that. And for that, I'm going to use skeleton bone. Pretty self-explanatory. Use skeleton bone for the skeleton parts, right? It looks like I'm waving on camera. Oh, that's funny. That should be enough. You always want to, when you're pulling paint from your pot or your, I'm just gonna call it a pot. When you pull it from your pot, put it in your palette. You don't really need a whole lot, as you can see. Yeah, the darker color here Let's see, Darkstone right there. That kind of just fell out. You just drop, maybe 2, depending on how thin you want to do it. Now, skeletal bone, I don't usually thin it out. It's kind of a one pass deal for it, because when you thin it out, I can't see it. And then I end up putting more than I actually need to, which nobody likes. There we go. So, a little bit. That's what it looks like. And focus. Can't really shove things in the camera's face and expect it to focus right away. So we're just gonna, nice and easy. If I can hold this thing. Just kind of dab it on there. Dab, dab, dab. Yeah, honestly, I probably should get glasses. This is kind of ridiculous. Alright. Maybe a bit more. A little bit more. Oh, looks like my sister started following me. I'm going to look into what Twitch is okay with for background music. That way next time you don't have to just hear my 3D printer or me flapping my dentures. We're going to have some tunes. We can chill. Foot here. Make sure you paint on a little bit of toes. Ricochet, do you know if I gotta prime your miniature? I couldn't find nothing on whether it was primed or not. I might just say forget it and prime it, just to be safe. Gotta take off. I'll catch you later. Alright, buddy. You have a good one. I know you work today. Or wait, do you work today? That just shut down for some reason. There we go. Now we're back up. Probably should change that sleep timer on that computer. This. So I tend to stick fingers out to add like balance, or I don't even know why, honestly. But if I if I'm doing this, it's for support, I swear. There's a reason I'm doing it, and it's not what everyone thinks. Yeah, it looks like a wrap. So, go ahead and do this part here. Paint the leg here. If you're interested in the printer files, it is Loot LOOT Studios.com. I think a monthly subscription for me is $15 a month, and you get over like 30 different files to print. So as long as you get a 3D printer, don't do what I did and get the subscription and then realize that it's not miniatures being shipped to your house. You actually have to print them. And also don't do what I did where you get the printer and you don't pay attention to anything, as in instructions, because typical man threw away the instructions. You put it together, it starts working, and you don't know how to set it up. More. There we go. So there's that. Paint the ribs with the cycle brush. No, you know what? I won't do that. I'll paint with the other one. Once I get to see my cats. Let's see here. If I do the whole thing that way, then when I do the wash, or the shade, whatever you want to call it, get in the recess and make those ribs pop. That's kind of cool, I'm not gonna lie. So if you guys should be able to see it. And the hand ribs. Ba-ba-da-ba-ba. Paint a little bit of his back legs. I'm still seeing white. Freaking cats, man, I tell you. Do. Just painting the face here. Trying to get it back into the cloak, but not all over the cloak, because that would not be good. Just, hey, knock it off, please. Don't make me get the squirt bottle. Or lock you in the bedroom with your mom. Like that. Yeah, drag, lick. For anybody wondering, no, I do not lick my brush when there's paint on my brush. Yet. I haven't done that yet. I have, however, dumped my brush in my soda, because I drink out of these jars here that I use. Same jars I use for my water, because, I don't know, I'm weird. And anybody who knows me knows that to be true. So cool thing is I got this really awesome idea to do for my stream and stuff. Before you get in, I want to try to do a couple of animations and set things up. So I gotta get a hold of a buddy of mine, see if he can help me figure out how to do that. And then you guys can look at really cool graphics, and you don't just have me taking up the whole frame. Or, judging from that, my arcade and my arcade and myself taking up the whole frame. Okay, hand. Can I do it? I think I can. Oh, YouTube. Right off. Honestly, I probably won't paint this whole thing on the first stream. Because I'm not quite sure how I'll do some of this, and I don't want to be sitting here trying to make that decision with you guys watching me going, come on, dingus, pick a color. It's mildly important you get the right color. So I'm trying to stay in frame, but not move. Sometimes I can't help it, I gotta move. And then we'll put some there. There we go. Yeah, move my water out of the way. There. So you can make a lot of mistakes, and you can clean it up at the end. Like something's not dark the way you want it. There's a wash for it. I'm sure if I messed up the pointing with this, if I mess up the ribs here with the wash, I can generally fix a lot of that up. Okay, let's do your pants. Oop. paints are sometimes darker than a lot of other stuff, so I use uniform gray. He's a skeleton, so we can play it off as a lot of his color kind of rubbed off. So I'm going to do uniform gray and then take ash gray. So uniform and then see if I get this lined up properly. Ash. Use ash as the highlight. You don't have to highlight your paints. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I do. Really all depends on the mood I'm in or what I'm feeling at that point in time. So we are going to make a decision here. Pants, this color. Don't know if I want to do if that's all one spot or yeah, we'll get there. Cross that bridge when we get there. Do my painter's wave. Eventually I'll get a machine that does that for me so I don't have to hurt myself. I wonder. You know what? We're going to change color. We're going to do uniform gray later, but we're going to do Necromancer's Cloak instead. So that's how it looks. Painter's wave. Do the painter's wave. Drop. Yeah, it's darker. I like that. We'll go pants just a little, like one tone, maybe 3 darker. I don't know how the scaling system for tone work. I don't know if it's like 1 or 2 or it could be 15, and I don't know. So let's get a little dot of that, pull that off to the side. Let's see if I can show that technique, huh? So what I'm doing here is I am pulling, dip it into my paint, pulling it away from my paint. This is what I'm going to be mixing with that water. So I get a good nice amount. Then I soak the brush, drop that in there. Possibly do a drag. See how that's doing that in your wet palette's not a bright idea. You can use your thumb, you can use your thumbnail, you can use paper towel, whatever you want to use. I think that might be too watery, so we'll try that. So if you can stick your brush in and it soaks your paint up like a straw. Like that. That's what I had. That's what it soaked up. It should soak up into a straw. Like something like that. So then we just start painting. Thin layer. Many thin layers. Trying to remember who it was that told me that first. Not specifically me, but the first video I watched said thin your paints, many thin layers. Rules of 3. I think his name was Samson. I'll have to look it up, put a note on the computer, so the next time I can let you guys know properly who it was. And so the game plan here is for me to make videos doing, gaming or painting or printing or whatever. Save them, edit them, and then throw them up on my YouTube channel. And once I get that done, we can run 2 platforms at once and then possibly brand out from that or call it quits if it doesn't work the way that we think it's going to work. So you're too watery now, man. Well, if you don't drip, be good. So the reason I like to have it thin like that is I don't have to spend time like inside the crease to get the color that I want. Just do a quick wash over it. Helps me figure out where, like, things I can't see while it's primed white, because snow blindness is a real thing. And there might be some people here that are telling me that that's too much water, which I agree, it is too much water. So what I'm doing is where it pulls into the resource too much, I'm pulling it away from that. Sticking my brush in that recess, let the brush do its sucking, and then forcing it to go somewhere else. I don't know if there's a technical term, or if people who do this for a living, if that's even the right way to do it. But I personally believe there's no wrong way to do this. It's whatever works for you. Clean it off. Not so thin next time. Boop, boop, boop. But no, if you get into it, just remember it's going to take practice. You're going to figure out your own techniques or what works for you. Because what works for me may not work for you. And what works for you may not work for me. You can use speed paints. That makes things a little easier. You kind of just stick it on and it does its own thing. It gets in the recesses. Yeah, basically what I'm doing, if I was doing this with speed paint, would take a lot less time. I'm not a big fan of it at this point, because I like to spend time with the mini as I'm painting, come up with its own little story, or think about how I'm going to torture my players with it. Trying to remember where I was there for a second. On top, there we go. Just take your time. Unless you're doing a tabletop wargaming and you're trying to get your army and everything done as fast as possible because you got a deadline to go to a tournament or something. Take your time with your paints, man. I'm not saying, take 14 hours to do a piece, but if it takes 14 hours for you to do a piece, there's nothing wrong with that either. You're doing this for your enjoyment. I do this to wind down from work. There we go. There. I forgot to mention I'm on the second coat of the paints. Second coat. Try to paint in threes. don't know if that's a legitimate rule for some people, or it's a rule for me. Once I don't need to, like the skeleton bone with the white background, and then throw the skeleton bone color on top of it. If you do more than a couple passes, I think it looks like you're trying too hard. It becomes gloppy and chalky, because it is a chalky color. And if you put too much on, you can definitely tell it's a chalky color. You don't want that. Bro, leave it alone. So we're going over here. Pulling out of the recesses. All the while, as I'm doing this, I'm noticing details I didn't see before, mapping out my next step, what I'm going to do with the folds of the pants, the tears, that kind of stuff. As you saw, I didn't stop between coat 1 and coat 2, because coat 1 was so thin. It was dry by the time I got done with the other leg. So far, I'm liking this. Doing good. So here is, as I shove it right in the camera, this is pants. One more coat to go. And then we can do some highlighting. I'll probably highlight in that uniform gray, whatever one I poured first. Then I had switched it because I wanted the pants to be darker than the top, and I didn't realize how light uniform gray was. But for the top, I think I'll use uniform gray, except for his belt. His belt's that's there. I'll use uniform gray for the shirt, the tunic, and then for the hood, I'll probably do what is it? Ash gray for the hood. I was hoping I can get this through and get to this guy here. He's a skeletal mage. Kind of looking forward to doing him too. Bro, we're live. You don't want to be doing that. Come on. Come here. Come here. You're good. You're okay. Butt scratches. Why don't you lay up there with Ollie? Huh? Huh? No, yeah, I'm painting. You can't come up here. I know, buddy. As I have a full-blown conversation with the cat. I'm painting, buddy. You're gonna get cat hair all over everything. We don't want that. Wake up the computer. What? I know, buddy. Let me finish these pants and we'll end the stream, okay? I promise. I promise. Let me finish the pants. No. Nope. Oh, buddy. I know. I know. I know. That was Barry. Girlfriend's cat. He named after Barry Allen, The Flash. He wants my attention. He's upset I'm not giving it to him. Alright. Almost time for the third coat. We got some wet spots. Yeah, you can't see that. I'll let you into the bedroom. Give me a second, guys. I'll be right back. Come on, buddy. Come on, Come on. Get down, Mom. Alrighty, I'm back. As you can see. It looks like I missed the spot, so we'll do a touch up real quick. Right there. And the dragon, the dragon, the dragon, the dragon. Gonna need another drop. One more drop. Boop. Now, aside from that little bit I just touched on, it looks to be dry. So we will do the touch-up part. So one there. Touch up underneath here. Periodically check the chat, make sure no one's trying to talk to me as I'm hyper focusing on this. Drag down, get up there, drag across. And there we go. It's always a good idea to have something you can stick your money on. That way you don't do what I did with this. I don't know if you can see it. Definitely tell where my hand is. Where my hand is and how I handle. So all of this white showing through. This isn't stained. It's not washed. It's not clear coated. It's just paint. And when you handle and you move, you tend to rub it off. I could stick something underneath in here. So I have something to hold on to, or, you know, I just wasn't thinking ahead at that time. I just wanted to get that done. So I just started painting it. Where? The pants. Oh. mini painting, it takes a little bit of time. Like I said, they have speed paints that make this go a lot quicker. But if you're not doing tabletop gaming painting, I wouldn't. But that's just me. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pull out a dark wash. So I need to get my other palette. My washing palette is what I call it. So you see all the washes are there. Find the dark wash in my pile. Or dark tone. It's called dark tone. Quick shade. And I will put that on here, put it on the pants, give a second for that to dry, do a highlight, and we'll call it good for the day. The painter's wave. Do a drop. Probably two. Here, do this. There we go. Okay, so it's kind of hard to describe what to do here. You kind of don't put a whole lot on your brush, but you put enough that it's going to do what you want it to do. If you put too much, it'll drip, and you don't want that. Unless you do want that, then that's how you do it. Just kind of smear it all over. But you want to go in the direction of what you're trying to shade. And this particular one is going to add a lot of depth to the folds in his pants. Get underneath. Underneath. Go ahead and do it here. I don't want it dripping on this particular one. There are some models where it's a lot easier to start from the top, dab it a few times, and let it just drip down. I don't know. It sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. But on the plus side with these minis is if you mess it up and you're not happy with it, 9 times out of 10, unless you dip it. If you dip it, I don't know if you can do this without ruining your miniature. But you can, if you use this quick shade and you paint it and it doesn't turn out the way you quite want it and you want to start over, you can literally strip the paint off of it and start over. I don't like doing that. I'm worried I'm going to break or I'm going to ruin something or a print that I can't find again. So what I do at that point is I chalk it up to a loss and I go to the next one, learn from my mistakes. I keep it as a reminder of, hey, what you did there wasn't a good idea. So we're just gonna put this on. And if you, let's see, do I have a spot? I got a couple spots. If you find you put too much on, what you can do is you can dunk your brush, wipe it off till it's dry, and lay it in the spot that you got too much. Just touch it. And like a straw, it'll soak it up. It'll soak it up. Now, right here, don't want to be talking with that in my mouth. Right here on the leg where the bone's sticking out. And we got a lot of dark area here and dark area on the sides. I'm going to try to put a little bit more in there like I did with this one back here, where I put extra in there to kind of give it that three-dimensional depth. I know I say that a lot, but depth's a good thing when you're painting your miniature. You want depth. And by no means am I going to win a golden paintbrush award here. Not what I'm going for. I'm trying to have fun, de-stress, talk to my friends as I paint. A little bit more. Talk to my friends as I paint, because, you need your friends. And voila. Wash of his pants are done. Then, shit. I'm going to set this off to the side so I don't accidentally knock that over. Go back to my wet palette with the uniform gray to do the Psycho brush highlight. You can dry brush it. I'm not going to dry brush it again because of the bone I had painted. I don't want to cover that up by accident. So I'm just going to leave it alone. And then we'll call that good for the day. And I'll set this guy aside and we will go back to it some other point in time. Just gotta make sure. Sometimes with this quick shade though, it is a little hard to tell if it's dry. Sometimes you think it's dry and you go to lay paint and you get quick shade. And places you don't want quick shade. Yeah, look at that. Noise. You see how the lights are reflecting off of the quick shade? It's kind of what you want. But once again, I'm painting the miniatures that I 3D printed with Loot. LOOT Studios. They don't sponsor anything for me. I really like them. If you got questions, they have a whole community on Facebook that they'll answer. Like when I was running problems with my 3D printer, because I don't read the instructions. There's good people up there. They helped you out. Now, if fantasy's not your thing, they have sci-fi, and you can do sci-fi that way. Get some sci-fi minis. I have a few, but I prefer the fantasy ones, more D&D style. Alright, looks like that back leg is ready. I'm going to hit my Psycho brush. Grab some of this uniform gray. Kind of just dab it. And highlight areas I want to highlight. Kind of nice and easy. You don't want a whole lot. But you don't want it to be too thin. You want it to look like a natural fold. Just a little bit works. And just poke it, draw, scratch, however you want to call it. See, I put too much there. And that's why a lot of people prefer the dry brush aspect. But even with the dry brush, you can still put too much on. Strong lines. Bob Ross was a happy little tree, saying happy little lines, highlighting. Just trying to get the tops of the raised portion, make it look like light is actually doing what I want it to do. Get this seam back here. Now you can highlight and then wash if you want. But because these two colors were so close together, I wanted to wash then highlight. So call it good. Oops. Now you can technically dry brush with this. You can technically dry brush with any brush. I like to do it this way. Some depth on there. There you go. See if you guys can see it. Should be seeing two different grays. Hopefully it turns out that way. Oh, focus. But eventually I'll get better lighting, better cameras, and you can actually see the detail that's going into it. But yeah, pants are done, bones done, base is done, minus the black ring I paint on the base, which I don't even know why I do it. It looks good. There's no actual reason. There you go. Alrighty. So within the next day or two, I'll start I'll start Ricochet's commission that he asked me to do, the Star Wars Legion, which is a wargamer, tabletop wargaming, by his Boba Fett. We'll put them together live. I'll build the base live. We'll put him together live. Paint him live. Maybe not so much in one session. The base idea I got for it takes some time.
and then I gotta prime it after I do the base. And like I said, nobody wants to see me shake a rattle can and hose it down. So yeah, what I'll probably do is I'll probably do the base over here with the rattle can, and then paint him up, get him put together and everything. We'll call it good. So, peace. I'm out. Have a wonderful day. And remember, be excellent and party on.